The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. And today is Monday, July 18th, and it's a little after 11 a.m. in the morning. Once again, this is C.A. Newry, and I shall be your host for today as we discover what spectacular and wonderful things are happening on top of West Hill Street. You know, what is happening in the middle of downtown Nassau? You know, why is it so colorful? Why is it bustling with activity? And because of that, I got two guests to come here and to explain that. What wonderful things are going down on Bay Street. And you know what? I wrote down the names because I have difficulty pronouncing one, right? So give me 2 seconds as I pronounce Gazarelli. Did I pronounce it right? No? Because I was going to do the syntax and the synonyms on it. And I said, I just didn't do it. But I allow you to introduce yourself first. Go ahead, Miss Roberta.
Roberta Garzaroli.
Pronounce the last name again.
I'll pronounce it for you in the real Italian way, which is Garzaroli.
Garzaroli.
Yeah.
That's better, right?
That's
So
better.
You didn't know they speak Italian, right? Well, I
Yeah.
speak with an Italian accent.
Yeah,
Or
it's a
something
very
similar.
good thing.
Yeah, good. And I have two guests, but I'm going to start off with Roberta. I'm going to say that. And I want to know what exactly is happening in the middle of Bay Street. Why is it so colorful?
West Hill Street.
And West Hill Street. No, but see, I call all of that Delancey Street
Yeah.
and Bay Street, right?
Well,
And
we are part of the downtown partnership, and there are a bunch of businesses that have gotten together to make downtown a better place and a more inviting place for both locals and tourists to come, get off their cruise ship, get out of their hotels, get out of their cars when they drive through and look at the umbrellas up the road, so that you can experience great, Nassau, starting from Bay Street, coming up the hill to us on West Hill Street. There's a lot of things to do. Go around the corner to Delancey Street. You've got Watlings. You've got the Educulture Museum. You've got the National Art Gallery. You've got Tasty Teas. We are actually all partners
So you're a
together.
part of a partnership. That's
Yeah.
good to know. I didn't know that, and
Yeah.
now I understand the concept that
Yeah.
it's something all inclusive. Like you start at one and you continue walking towards
Right.
the tour.
And we're actually all working together to do a comprehensive tour so that you can do a walking tour around the neighborhood.
Nice. And recently, I happened to pass by, right? And I saw the umbrellas and said, "My God, look at this! Look at this! I got to
The most
stop for a
photographed street in Nassau.
Say it again.
The most photographed
Can
street.
you imagine? So I took pictures there with me and the child, right? And I realized this Grey Cliff. I know Grey Cliff. And I know your name. I know it's synonymous with Grey Cliff. And I want to know exactly what all is Grey Cliff doing in that area. Because I thought Grey Cliff is on the left-hand side. Right, I know you had two restaurants. You had Grey Cliff, the little hotel there, and then you have the Brazilian.
Churrascaria, right.
Yes, and then I look across the street and I say, "Hey, I think that's them too." And I wanted to understand exactly. But no, before I go there, I just want to know the history of the Gazzarelli name in terms of it's a Bahamian family. I know you here for like what I call eons, right?
Yeah.
People know who you are, but people don't know who you are. And I want to just give us a brief that, and then we go back to the scenario.
Sure. Well, my dad came here in 72, 73 and purchased Grey Cliff, the building, from Lady Dudley at the time. She was returning to England because of independence. And he bought it as an investment, and it came with 17 staff. So he's like, well, I better do something with this because I can't pay them with nothing. Both my parents were in the hotel industry before they got married. So we're like, well, we'll do a little hotel bed and breakfast kind of thing. So that's kind of where it started. The last person from that original 17 retired 3 years ago.
Oh, nice. What was Grey Cliff, the building, before? I know you.
It was a private home.
A private home.
But throughout the years, it was built in 1740 by a pirate who's a privateer.
And few people know that. So this is building is from 1740, the original building. I assume
Right.
you add on to it.
We've added on to it. We've actually bought 3 lots on the left side,
Okay.
on the Great Cliff Hotel and Restaurant side. And now we bought Mountbatten House, which is
The opposite side.
which is the opposite side, and the Sisters of Charity Museum. Convent.
Convent.
The
I was going to say
former
monastery.
yeah, the convent. So we are created a little sort of village feeling of our own. So hence the umbrellas joining both sides of the
Nice.
street, and then we do different decorations throughout the year. Depending on the holiday, but the umbrellas are the most popular.
But you mentioned a pirate. Do you know which pirate used to own that
It's
building?
called. His name was John Howard Graysmith,
Graysmith.
hence the name Grey Cliff.
Ah, okay.
And his ship was the Grey Wolf.
And Grey Wolf. So this pirate was based in New Providence during that
Yes.
ages of piracy and
History or legend, I should say, goes that he would sit on the upstairs porch. The British Colonial wasn't built back then, and he could see his ships go in and out of the harbor.
nice. And so from the pirate, right?
From
Who owned it after that?
From the pirate, it changed hands many times between the British Navy. It was a private home for many years. It was a rooming house later in the 1700s, owned by Mr. Nathaniel French, and he actually advertised in the Nassau Guardian.
Nice. Oh, okay. Now we have connection with the National Guardian. That's
very
good.
much so.
Okay.
And then it became again a private home, and then it was during the American Civil War. It was an American naval base. So where our wine cellar is, we have actually bars on what used to be windows, and it was their garrison.
And I know it's rumored that your wine cellar was like a tunnel. Is that true or is it a
There is a
rumor?
tunnel. I haven't been through it, but there is a tunnel, which is an escape from Government House. So from us
get
all the way to
you get me
it go-
excited. You
yeah.
get me excited now. You're trying to
Allegedly,
say that
it goes from Government House, passes by Grey Cliff, all the way to Fort Charlotte.
Oh, how many Charlotte? Okay, now I'm trying to picture this in my head. I see Government House. I can appreciate that tunnel exists, right? I can appreciate that your section you made into your wine cellar, but before you made it your wine cellar, and
No,
you
the
being
tunnel
here-
has nothing to do with the wine cellar.
the tunnel. See, I'm listening now. So the wine cellar is what exactly? That's where they had the
wine cellar-
garrison thing.
The
you said.
garrisons from the American Civil War,
Civil War.
era. And then it,
So what is this myth about this, or this legend about this
well,
tunnel?
the tunnel goes from Grey Cliff, allegedly, to the wine cellar, to
I'm listening. Go
Fort
ahead.
Charlotte.
To Fort Charlotte.
Yeah. So Maxine can tell you a bit more about that.
And any minute now, I'm going to start talking to Maxine. but also, I know that you purchased property next door.
Yeah.
It was Grey Cliff proper.
We have Grey Cliff proper.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the house, which my parents live in.
They still
Which
live in
is-
there now, or used to live?
They still
Really?
do.
Right on the West Hill Street there?
Yep. And then the house next door, where the chocolate factory is,
Okay.
was Postern Gate.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where our other restaurant is, and that's where the chocolate factory
Mm-hmm.
is. And then in the back garden, we joined all 3 properties together,
uh-huh.
and that's where the cigar company is.
Okay.
And then across the street, in the Sisters of Charity Museum,
And this is Charity. Is
We now have a winery.
The nun convent,
yes,
and you now have the what?
the winery. So we changed from one
Okay.
spirit to another.
I can imagine what the nuns think. But Catholic
nuns
nuns
would-
tend to drink, so I understand.
The Catholic nuns tend to drink, so they're all very happy.
They're happy.
And then-
good wine is always a good thing.
Absolutely. And then we have the Heritage Museum in Mountbatten House.
And I remember Mountbatten House being like a
It was a-
house.
yeah, it was
and
a private
party
home.
place. Yeah.
It was a private home, and then when Harl owned it, he
Yes.
used to do parties there, which we still do host parties there. We host parties at the winery. We do lots of events, weddings, and everything on various parts of the Grey Cliff property. And every now and again, you can also have a street party on our street under the umbrellas.
Now you know I got to understand what you mean by street party.
We close the street off,
Nice.
and we have a party
Yeah, in the middle of the road.
in the middle of the road. I
Nice.
mean, it's depending on what the client wants.
I understand.
It could be, something very fancy like a sit-down dinner, or something very casual like a barbecue and a concert.
So let me go to Miss Maxie Newland. Newland. Okay. How are you, by the way?
I'm fine.
I know you said you was going to be a little nervous here, but you seem very fine and easygoing, right?
I'm good.
Good. And I met you a few weeks ago, right? And you are the manager of the Heritage Museum.
Yes, sir.
And I got intrigued when I heard that you give ghost tours.
Yes, we do.
That part of Delancey Street, part of West Hill Street, you can hear whispers in the dark. And I want to hear more about that. Like, what time of day would you do a ghost tour? And what is a ghost tour exactly?
Well, the ghost tour actually is a new venture for us, but it's filled with a lot of ghosts that once toured and visits the property of Greycliff, mostly in the night, but we do ghost tours in the day. But I think to feel the full effect and to see all of our visitors at night, you'd really have to come out in the night.
And how popular is this? I mean, I'm interested in seeing ghosts. I don't believe in ghosts, but if you can show me a ghost, I'll have a conversation. I'll have a conversation and say, hey, boo.
It's becoming very popular. We've had a lot of fun with it. We've had kids come and do the ghost tour in the day. They left with a good fright. They left with a lot of information because they'd talk me to death about it after it. We've had quite a few journalists. Roberta just had this gentleman from England. Oh wow, he was the best for us so far. He was frightened. He was taken back. It was everything. It lived up to everything as expected.
And I have a text ready. What you mean by ghost tour? How is it, like in a building, or do you tour around the area?
Okay, let me tell you about the ghost tour. Basically, the ghost tour starts on West Hill Street, which is actually known as, excuse me, as Charlestown. Mm-hmm. And it leaves from Charlestown. It tours the various Greycliff properties. And each, by which I may add it, has a friendly ghost, somewhat.
Like a friendly ghost like Casper.
And if you walk down the street in the night, you'd hear, because the street was very busy, you'd hear the clip-clopping of horseshoes, or sometimes you'd just be standing up and it's like, it's humid, but you just feel a breeze walk past you, it's exciting. And we walk throughout the whole entire area. We walk down to where St. Francis Church is. Okay. We go around to the cemetery, Porter's Cemetery.
Do you walk through the cemetery?
I wish we could. I really wish.
Just checking.
But in the daytime, our tour takes us in there, and we're able to see graves that were there from like 1775
Yes.
and so forth. And then we come up on the hill to where Bona Vista is. And of course, Bona Vista has their very own ghost story. They have two actually ghosts that they have there. One is dressed in red and one is always seen in white. One is fierce and one is friendly. Now, on our tour in the night, we always see the white ghost. And she's always standing on the hill. It's just a certain spot. And she'd raise her hand and she's calling you. And unfortunately, we have to walk back that way, so we walk pretty fast.
I hope so, because there's no ghost calling me, and I ain't going. I mean, you can call me all you want. I don't answer ghosts.
She just stares. She watches as we pass.
Yeah. Mind you, when I worked at Ocean Club, I saw a lady in white who was headless, right? And I even saw this gentleman who was trapped in chains. But Ocean Club becomes busy since then, so no one has seen these ghosts. So I know that ghosts exist in New Providence and exist in Nassau. And to know that you have a tour that is based on ghosts and goblins, I guess, in Nassau is entertaining. But I also experienced the Heritage Museum with you, right? It seems to be, let me see the right word, it's a pop culture type museum with different genres inside the museum itself. And I'm not sure if Bahamians are aware that this museum exists and that it gives particularly detail about various times in Bahamian history and even internationally in the United States. And I want you to briefly give me some information on that, the different rooms that you have there.
Wow, I get all excited when it's time to talk about the museum. This house is actually a revolving house, and as Roberta told you, it was Charles Taylor's home, and actually, it's
Oh,
just
wait. It goes inside.
yes.
I keep.
Hal comes out.
Oh,
He comes out at 6. Yeah, at 6 he tells us it's time to leave. Get out. But on a serious note here, the museum is a revolving house, and basically we start from the 1400s and we go straight around to the 1900s, and we cover just about every aspect of Bahamian history. And you took a tour, so it takes you back from the Arawaks, the Lutheran adventures. It pushes us straight through the slavery. Then we come into modern days, and we end up in Speed Week. So, it's a revolving house. And then we have this area, we call it the Bahamian Wall of Fame, and we try to place photographs of persons that have made outstanding achievements in Bahamian history on that wall. Starting from our musicians, our athletes, and also going to our, the governor generals and the prime ministers and so forth.
And one of the things what moved me, taking that heritage tour, right? Besides the themed rooms, was their slave artifact collection. And I've never seen that many artifacts any place in New Providence, right? And the detail that is there, right? And some of the things that you have there can be comparable to any big museum around the world. One of the things also that would mesmerize me was your that meteorite type thing there,
Yes.
and I'm not sure how old it was, but the idea that you have it there as a part of that is very interactive, where Bahamians can learn so many things. And I was saying, how come Bahamians don't know about this? This is just not ordinary, and that you have tour guides who can go in detail to explain it. I found that entertaining.
Yes,
Yeah, but what is your favorite room?
all of them.
You can't have all. Like, which one that you find that when you go inside there, you talk about it all day?
I've never really thought about it, but I love, I can say the plantation and slavery room. Those are my two favorite rooms right there.
You know I can ask you why, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but go ahead.
Basically, our plantation room, for me, it takes me back to actually seeing what a plantation, or visualizing what a plantation looked like in those days. Because if you were to visit, you would see where we have the indoor kitchen, which is
Yes.
in there, and you saw the artifacts, the pot, the copper pots and so forth, and then you got to see the rolling pins in the jar. It's actually set up as the inside of a plantation's kitchen.
Yes, I see
And
that.
then we move from that era, from that point to the slavery point. Now, for
The slavery point evokes a lot of emotion, right? Especially when you start into that 1920s post-American slavery and seeing the caricature of black people, right? That evokes emotion. And to have so many artifacts and tell that story, then transition to the triumphs and accomplishments of black people, you have a sense of relief as, wow, we have come far, right?
Yes.
I got teary-eyed going through that and saying, look how far. Look, like what a famous song is, look where God has brought us from. And it's something I think that all Bahamians, particularly black Bahamians, should go and experience, just to understand the emotions and understand the effort we as colored people had to go through. So I'm very appreciative of that. Also, going back to, I'm just going to try my Italian again, but you know I'm
Yes.
going to just call you Roberto, right?
That's not a problem.
Okay. You soon celebrate your 50th anniversary,
We will next
right?
year.
And I'm
Same
saying,
as Bahamas.
same as the Bahamas. And I'm excited with that because, I plan to have a guardian partner with you and all to celebrate that too. I'm going to remind you that we're here and you can come this way.
We have we love The Guardian. We love all of our media partners. Actually, one of your lifestyle writers was my brother's high school mate, Siobhan.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So what? I'm not sure if you should even say it now, but what do you think you plan to do for the 50th anniversary of the Bahamas, the 50th
We are
anniversary of Grey Cliff?
finalizing all the different things that we're planning on doing. So I will let you know as soon as we decide, because the list is like, 10
Large,
miles
I can
long.
imagine.
And we're trying to whittle it down to make sure we can fulfill all of the things we want to do and to celebrate both ourselves and, in conjunction with, because it is the 50th for the Bahamas as
Yes.
well. So it's a
It's a
gonna
big
be-
event. It's going to be a big
It is
event.
a very
Grand.
big, grand event, and we're going to be doing lots of different things. So once that's done, I will
Let me
send
know.
you
Yeah, definitely.
all the details.
And in the middle, I'm not sure the correct name for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some kind of enclave there. But it seems to be a number of shops, and you're creating a different market type thing.
Yes,
And
we
what is
have
that what's happening there?
Well, they used to be artist studios. Some artists are still there. They are all Bahamian artists producing art locally only in the Bahamas.
So I can go there now and see artists create
A
work?
couple of them. They set their own hours. They do their own thing. We don't mandate them. But these were all actually the rooms that the nuns slept in.
Okay.
So each one is part of their dormitory. So we have some artists, and then we've taken over some of the rooms and are doing different products in them. Soon you'll be able to purchase Bahamian-made candles. We just opened an ice cream shop a week and a half ago. So you can come for an ice cream or a milkshake or a fancy chocolate drink in all this Bahamian wonderful sunshine and have, sit down under the umbrellas and enjoy it.
It's definitely a Bahamian flair.
Yeah.
Right? It's a Bahamian ambiance where you feel as if you can sit down and relax, like you're on
You
a
can.
tropical beach, where you get daiquiris.
Yeah, we have a conch stand. We have a conch stand. We have a daiquiri stand. You can, taste wines. You can do a wine blending class. You can make your own chocolate there. You can learn how to make cigars. You can, come and get a little history from Maxine at the museum.
And have a ghost. Yeah.
And hear about ghosts too. Or you can come, into Grey Cliff Restaurant. You can have afternoon tea. We have a wine lunch. We have other activities. You can come and spend the day. We have a day pass.
A day pass.
Yeah, you can spend the day by our pool and relax, and it includes lunch. So you can do all those wonderful things.
And few people know that Grey Cliff proper is also like a hotel,
Yes, we
right?
have.
Because I know it as a restaurant, and I know it for the wine cellar, but I do not know much about staying.
Yeah, our hotel, we have 20 rooms, and they're all
Just 20 rooms?
just 20 rooms. And we, they're all decorated in the style of almost as, in the same decor that we had when we first purchased the house and it was a private home.
Nice.
So it's there. We have 2 swimming pools. One is actually one of the first swimming pools to be built in the Bahamas.
And that's a big thing.
It is.
That's a tour by itself. I can imagine her bringing my swim team down there and say, let me take some photographs. And the first swim, I digress. But I see I have a caller there. And patch the caller through their producer. Let me see what they want to say. Welcome, caller. You're on Guardian Radio in the AM. This is CA Newry, and I'm having a conversation with Roberta. Watch me try my Italian. Gaza Rally. Getting there, closer. And Maxine Newland, right? Go ahead. What do you like to say?
And a pleasant good morning to you, Mr. Newry.
It's always good to hear your voice.
Boy, let me tell you, I am so proud that you're talking about the West Street area. A lot of people don't know the history that's involved with that area up in there, what you call West Street. You know the people that used to live up on West Street, they used to call them the Hilltoppers.
The Hilltoppers? It
Yeah.
seemed to be like the Beverly Hills of
It used
Delancey
to be
Street.
the Hilltoppers. They used to call them, like the people down in Baintown, down in Hay Street and stuff like that. They used to call people that live up there, they used to call them the Hilltoppers. If you go through West Street, you go a little south on West Street. You know, where West Street meets Meeting Street, You know, on the corner there, they used to also have a very big milk stand, ice cream parlor.
On West
It's
Hill
right on the
Street.
corner where
Yes.
you come off of like Meeting Street, turning into West Street, going north towards St. Francis.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I grew up down in the bottom of West Street Hill, down through a corner. Mr. Lockett used to have a gas station to the bottom of the hill.
Okay, I see it in my mind.
It's right through Adley Street. I used to live on the side. My parents used to live right on the side of Valentine Grimes and their house.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents, Harold Jackson Fountain, used to live on the top of West Street Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He died in 1955 when I was 4 years old. He lived across the road from the Nash, the Bosfields, the Eldons, and then you come in north, you used to have St. Francis, the first school I went to, lived kindergarten. St. Francis Cathedral also had a little primary school up there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had the basketball court called the Priory. And then you come into West Street Hill, all that area on top of West Street Hill, where they say the tunnel is coming underneath the hill from the government house over to Grey Cliff. They said that it goes into St. Francis Cathedral and out through Nassau Street, straight over to Fort Charlotte. you know, there's so much history, but the thing is, what always disturbed me is they never taught the Bahamian people about these things. They always
Just
said
with Miss
that
Gazarelli,
everything
them
was-
coming now because they're teaching everything now.
Yeah, but see what I'm saying? When I grew up and went as far as 1970, when I left Government High,
Mm-hmm.
only thing they used to teach us about King Henry VIII and Elizabeth I and all those kings and James and them up in England. They never told us what was going on in Bahamas. The only thing we knew about the Bahamas was Columbus discovered the Bahamas in 1492. That's the only thing they told us. Columbus discovered that in 1492, but he met a bunch of people here. You understand? But there's a lot of history up there. The reason why people call the whole island New Providence, they started teaching people where Nassau is. Nassau is the capital of the island. The island is named New Providence. The capital of the island, it starts from Nassau Street and it goes all the way up to Church Street, the eastern side of wall of St. Matthew's Church, out to the waterfront.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes from the waterfront at Nassau Street, up around Meeting Street, and so forth around the back of the government house, up Shirley Street, so forth. Anything south of that, you live in New Providence. You ain't born in Nassau if you born down in the Doctor's Hospital. Because Doctor's Hospital is on the south side of Shirley Street, not the north side.
Mm-hmm.
And because Nassau is the capital, that's why you got the two cathedrals. You got Christ Church Cathedral and you got St. Francis Cathedral. To be a capital back in those days, you had to have a cathedral. Government House is on top of the hill where the governor lives, and the cathedral is to the bottom. Cathedral is also the head church of the Bahamas, of which the Queen
That's
is
sparky.
head of church and state. There's also a desk, a bench inside cathedral that you'll see a crown on. Only the Queen, the Governor General, or the Queen representative is supposed to sit in that seat. When the Queen comes to the Bahamas, she visits no other church. No Montego, no St. Matthews, no other church. She only goes to cathedral. You understand that? A lot of Bahamians don't even know that. If you go in Christ Church Cathedral, you will see the bench with the Queen's signature on the bench. You ever do that?
No, I didn't know that, Sparky.
It's right there on the first bench on your right-hand side when you go up to the altar. You will see the little signature of the Queen's emblem and a stick standing up in the air with the Queen's crown on it. On the next side, you'll see the bishop's hat on it. A lot of Bahamians don't know that, you know. There's a lot of history up in that place which you call Nassau. The capital is full of history, and the Bahamian people don't know. Because guess what? My grandfather lived right on West Street Hill. The fountain, you know the house where my grandfather lived, and 6 sons. So Cyril's fountain, he's the last of 6 sons. He's still living. He's the last one living. He lives in Retirement Road right now, retired. Hello, Uncle Sterl, if you're still living. But anyway, they lived up on West Street Hill. The building, the 2-story building on West Street Hill, still has a sign on it saying Fountain Apartment.
Sparky, I appreciate it. I appreciate the whole entire history lesson. And I know you know the Bahamas, and I truly appreciate your phone call today. My guests are smiling. They are impressed with your knowledge, and they want to know your name. And so that's Sparky. Sparky calls every day. But this is Guardian Radio AM. My name is C.A. Newry. I'm speaking with Roberta Gassarali, and I'm speaking with Maxine Newland. Okay, pronounced it right. And we're talking about the exciting things that is happening on top of West Hill Street, on the Lancy Town, off of Bay Street, and the activities happening there. And I see Sparky grew up in the area, and he went all out. So we'll be right back on the other side of this break.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Sign your basketball teams up today for the Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic, August 1st through the 7th at the Hope Center. Get ready for the pastors versus politicians, along with the Phil Lightburn Slam Dunk Contest, then Energy 3-point shootout, along with all championship games, live in living color at the Kendall G. Eliza Gymnasium, Sunday, August 7th, beginning at 5 p.m. That's the Michael Scooter Reed Peace on the Street Basketball Classic. For more information, contact 601-4842.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Parents, it's that sweet time of year again.
What are you talking about any Christmas yet?
The kids are going back to school, so pick up your copy of the Nassau Guardian's Back to School Supplement, cause
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
put your students in the latest styles at the lowest prices, because summer break is almost over, and our Back to School Supplement is filled with brand name back to school supplies at discounted prices, store locations, hours, and contact details.
It's the happiest season of all.
Advertisers, call the Nassau Guardian today at 302-2300 or call your account executive to get in on the 2-for-1 insertion deal. If it's uniforms, shoes, books, backpacks, calculators, art supplies, laptops, tablets, or whatever is on your back-to-school supply list, your ad should be in the Nassau Guardian's Back to School Supplement.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio and AM. This is C.A. Newry, and I'm having a conversation with the Hilltoppers. That's the name Sparky called you guys on top of the hill, the Hilltoppers. And I got a text here that says, Cecil, she's absolutely right. Years ago, I was working at Government House as a police, and there were ghosts who used to come and visit all the time. It's a ghosts of pirates. So Government House is haunted also. Yeah. So it seems like the entire hilltop there has ghosts. So this ghost tour is going to be popular. Which days do you do your ghost tours so I can make a booking there?
We do the ghost tours from Monday to Friday.
So every day I can come there then?
Yes.
And what time for the evening one? The evening one?
The evening one starts at, based on the time difference, we try to start at dusk. For now, it's like
6:30ish.
No, it gets dark pretty late. So
Around
like
8-ish right now.
around 8.
Oh, okay. And do the whole tour after that?
Yes.
Nice. And I see I have a caller there. And during lockdown, during COVID, I know Great Cliff did a number of community efforts, and I want to commend you for that. But I wanted to hear about that exactly. What did you do, and what are you doing now as
Well, we continue to do a lot of things. I mean, during COVID, we hosted students from Bain and Grantstown.
Yeah, see that?
As part of the virtual school. We the idea came because most kids don't have internet access at home, and we had a whole big space internet access. So we worked with Travis, the local MP,
Robertson.
and had 75 students rotate in and out every day and
I'd like to thank you for that. I mean, I truly appreciate it. 'Cause
yeah.
a number of persons didn't have access to internet.
Yeah.
And a number of persons didn't have access to
So
virtual learning.
we did that, and then we did the food drive with some partners on Friday during that summer before, and we continue to do that. Maxine hosts kids from the police academy.
The
You
police
do.
summer camp.
Let's
Police
talk. Let's talk about that. Hosting that. How does that come about?
Well, every year when the police have their summer camp, I reach out to the officers in the community policing section, and I also invite those that do community policing to bring their groups in. I organize the tour of the chocolate factory. They also get to come and see the museum. The last group that we had, they did the ghost store. And the guys get to have fun. They have lunch, and we also let them enjoy the pool for an hour or two, and then they leave. We also
No, it's always important, and it's always good to see corporate Bahamas giving back and doing tangible things, especially for the youth. So I like to commend you for that. That touched me, and to know that you go above and beyond to make sure give back. But I see I have another caller there. Go ahead, caller. Please put the caller. Pass your caller
Morning,
through.
CA and your guest.
Good morning.
Now, speaking about the house next door to Great Cliff, what's that called?
Next door to the right.
Yeah, to the, and then
To
I think
left.
it's the north side.
The north side. There is West Hill House and then Postern Gate.
Yeah, Poston Gate. Now, that should have a new spirit and ghost there, because the late Hal Taylor was murdered in that house.
No, he was actually across the street in
All
Mount
right,
Batten
good.
House.
But the Poston Gate used to be owned by, you've heard of the man named Robert Chapman? He was an offshore banker. He owned that bank on Sanders Beach. The last building before we Sanders Beach, the pink offshore bank.
Okay.
With Robert Chapman, he owned it, Poston Gate. I remember that back in the 80s, until the feds came and arrested him. But he was a great tax dodger. He wrote a book and everything. How to duck taxes. Have you never heard of Robert Chapman?
No, but now I'm going to Google. I'm going to Google him.
We're going to Google it.
He owned it for Poston Gate.
Okay.
Okay. But Hard Taylor Ghost should be on the hill too.
Yeah, it
When
is. Maxine told us about that.
mentioned that she saw a glimpse of him.
Okay.
Every day
okay,
at 6 o'clock.
Oh, rest in peace. All right. All right.
Okay, thanks very much for your call.
Well, I do know.
Go ahead.
I do know that what he's talking about, the Ponston Gate, that used to be a free black slave plantation there. That particular section.
Really?
Yes, that was owned by free black slaves. And if you do the ghost store, of course, you get to go in the back there. And there's also a clover pool that's actually in the back there.
What you mean by clover pool?
It's in
Clover-shaped
Oh,
pool.
clover-shaped pool.
Yes, and I'll give you a story about it. There's a waiter that was there, that is there. He came over when he heard about the ghost store, and he was telling me that every evening when the humidor was open, he would always see this lady. Standing in a white flowing dress, and she would be standing like she's crying over the pool. And then he asked his boss. He said, "There's a lady who's always standing out there, but she never comes inside." And his boss went out the evening. Both of them went out. They saw the lady standing there, and no breeze was blowing, but she just was standing there and at the clover pool. So, they're there.
Interesting. I see I have another caller there. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, caller.
Mr. Newry, sorry to call you back, Spark here. Tell them also that Poston Gate was owned in the 70s by Mr. Clarence E. Doffino, president and owner of Deltec International Banking on the corner of Marlborough and Cumberland Street.
Yes.
You need to write a book, Sparky. You need to write a
Clarence
book.
E. Doffino owned Poston Gate.
Yes, he did.
Hello, have a good day, buddy. I know, Newry, I know the area.
I see that.
Thank you,
And thanks very
Sparky.
much for calling back, Sparky. Right? And I mean, Sparky going in detail about the Lansing Street. It's very impressive to have Behemoths call in and give their history and their remembrance of what is happening there. But let's talk about Bahama Barrels. Right? Besides your wine cellar, and I think your wine cellar is what, the third largest in the world.
It is.
Not just in New Providence or the Caribbean, the third largest in the world.
Yes, it's the third largest privately owned wine cellar in the world.
That must be a big basement you have there.
It is. It's the whole basement of the Grey Cliff main house.
And can you get tours to go see that?
If you are a patron of Grey Cliff Hotel or Restaurant, you may have a tour of the wine
Patron
cellar.
means that you're there for dinner?
Or lunch.
Or lunch, and then I could go downstairs.
Or a hotel guest.
And if I buy that $5 water, can I be a patron and say, "Oh, I want to see the wine cellar"? I know the water ain't no cheap. You know, cheap water. I experienced water there.
We got Acre Pure.
I will remind the people there again. You know, I got this. I went to the Brazilian place. What is that?
The Churrascaria. We have not reopened the Churrascaria after the pandemic as yet. We are reimagining and re-envisioning that restaurant. So we will relaunch it.
Is it still going to be Brazilian, or we may consider something else?
It's going to be a combination probably of different cuisines because we had actually originally wanted to turn it from the Brazilian to a lionfish restaurant. But then we couldn't get enough supply of lionfish. Granted, they are devouring all of our, fish in our Bahamian waters, but the fishermen were not supplying us with enough to sustain just a lionfish restaurant. So we're reimagining and re-envisioning that restaurant, and we will reopening, and we will be having happy hour again. So listen, look out, and we'll let you know when that.
Bahama Barrel is that about?
Bahama Barrel is our winery. We bring in grape juice from different parts of the world, and we blend our own wines there. And
I wondered how you did that. I said,
well, we don't grow grapes in the Bahamas. Okay. We tried, but they're not quite coming to the right thing. We are, doing experiments with various fruits, from tamarind to mango and other fruits. So we're making some fruit wine.
Okay, blended.
Which is grown locally, but traditional wines we're bringing in the grape juice from various parts of the world.
Here.
We're blending them here, and you can also take a class and make your own wine.
I did not know that.
You make your own wine, make your own label. You decide you want more of that wine. You call us up and say, "I want 10 bottles of that wine."
So
we'll prepare it for you.
Make my own labels. You mean with my name on it and say that's?
You name your own wine.
That's an experience.
It's a very fun experience. It's a big activity actually for parties and showers, wedding, bachelorette parties, bachelor parties. We have a lot of Bahamian groups doing that.
I see you have another caller there. Patch the caller there, true. Thank you for holding, caller. How you doing?
Hey.
Hi.
Morning, Siri.
How you doing, man?
Morning to you guys, them. You know what this is, right?
Yes, Scullaboo.
Huh?
Scullaboo.
Yes, sir. Listen, I want to share something with you concerning the history, too, about upon, I don't know if it, I think that's West Street Hill, right? Across from West Street Hill.
You're going to be as long as Sparky, right?
Primary was around?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Okay. Do you know they had a library right there, right?
No, I did not.
Huh?
No, I did not know that. Go ahead.
Yeah, they had a library right there on top of the hill. Right before, you see, when you come in, want to go to the baseball park, when you're on top of the hill to go to the baseball park, they had a library right there. Across from where the Tingham is.
On what street it was that?
Clinic. Right? On the left-hand side, though.
Go ahead.
On the side of that library, they had, I don't know, we used to call it, we just used to call it a haunted house, right?
A lot of ghosts. I'm hearing a lot of ghosts in that area. I'm hearing a lot of ghosts in that area.
Expand this walking tour of the ghosts.
No, listen, Newry, on like every lunchtime, we used to go under that to eat our lunch. It been more like a witch house. And you wouldn't believe me? Brother, we used to be seeing these rich women them. It's the seediest thing.
Which
every
woman?
lunchtime, we go sit down under that little thing to eat our lunch.
Oh, okay. I'm listening, man. I mean,
So I know what I'm
you
saying
went there
is
to see the witch women
I'm
there.
listening to the lady talk about the ghost thing, of which is very interesting, right? But I believe everything what she said. Yeah, I believe we get ghosts around in that part of.
Well, I'm definitely planning to take the tour. So when I do, I'm going to come back and report it. And if I see any ghosts there, I plan to have a conversation with them.
But I want to share one other thing with you, Nuri.
Go ahead, man.
And listen, I need to talk to you about something.
Okay.
We have a new organization, a disability organization, and I want to share some things with you about that.
Well, let me
don't know how we
arrange
can
to
hook up.
have a conversation with you. You have my number still?
No, you got to give me your number.
Okay. You ready?
Yes, sir.
565
565
01
01
45.
45.
That's the WhatsApp number. I don't answer that now. You have to WhatsApp.
565 01 45.
Yeah, that's the WhatsApp number. You don't hear no one answer that.
I can touch you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bye. Yeah, man. So I'm talking with the people at Grey Cliff, and it seems as if a number of persons seeing ghosts. That entire Delancey Street is haunted, right? And that people are aware of the haunting. So it seems as if that tour is popular, and I see why it's growing in magnitude. And I'm speaking with Miss, what should we try to pronounce her name? Miss Roberta Gazzarelli, getting there slowly, right? And Miss Maxine Newland, and they're from a representative from Grey Cliff who are explaining the exciting things that are happening on top of that West Hill area. And apparently, Grey Cliff is a part of this cooperative with a number of businesses in the area, which are redefining and reorganizing the area to make it the biggest touristic draw in New Providence, right? And you see that Grey Cliff has purchased a number of buildings in the immediate area, and under the colorful umbrellas, you can go there and experience one or two different tours. And we were talking about the winery that they have there. We're talking about the ghost tours. We're talking about the Heritage Museum. We talk about the history of Grey Cliff proper. We talk about I was going to say the Brazilian place, but I know the Brazilian place is closed. But the number of events that you can participate in and enjoy whilst you're there. Bahama Barrels. But I want to talk about besides the chocolate, how do you pronounce that?
Chocolatier.
Chocolatier. They're cigar place. And there are people wrapping leaves.
We do cigar rolling lessons as well.
And this is like backwood type. No,
backwood.
Grabber?
No grabber.
No? Go ahead, tell me about that.
We do proper cigars.
Proper cigars. Go ahead.
So we have a variety of rollers. The rollers themselves are Cuban.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I don't have to go to Cuba anymore?
No, you don't have to go to Cuba. Our cigars are actually award-winning, and they have actually beaten many of the Cuban cigars around the world. Yes. Mm-hmm. We started with one roller in the restaurant, Avelino Lara. He used to be Castro's personal roller.
Okay.
And then people wanted to take a bunch of cigars back to wherever they came from. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have any boxes. So out came a cake box, 25 cigars went in. We're like, well, there must be something to this. So that's how the cigar company started way back when. Mm-hmm. We started with a few cigar rollers. It grew from there. Now we have, depending on the week, we can have up to 16 rollers.
Really?
Yeah. And we give cigar rolling lessons. We give cigar and rum pairing classes. We do different activities. You can come and learn just do a walkthrough tour of the cigar company, learn how, where tobacco comes from, which part of the tobacco leaf you use for various parts of the cigar. There's 3 elements to a cigar. There's the filler, there's the wrap, the binder, and then there's the outside wrapper.
Nice.
So you can become a cigar roller in an
hour. Get my own leaves.
No, we provide everything for you.
I mean, when I go home, or you go home with the stuff.
You get to go home with what you make.
Oh, okay. But just in case everyone spoke other things, I won't know how to do it properly. And you can teach. No?
No, we ain't going there.
No, you go there. I see I have another caller there. You can patch the caller through. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, a pleasant good morning, CN. Good morning to your guests.
Good morning, dear.
Good morning.
My question is, I know that C.B. Moss is very, very much interested in the over-the-hill beans and grants, history and whatnot. I'm just wondering whether it would be a coordinated effort if you can perhaps, because I know he has a lot of history about the area, and I think Scrooge is also doing some things. So I just wondered if there could be a collaborative effort with all of the stakeholders so that people would be able to take a historic tour of the area.
Mind you, I like the idea, but I know that Great Cliff is a part of a grouping.
The Charlestown
The Charlestown Association. And I'm not sure if Beantown is connected to that or Grandstown is connected to that. But I'm assuming that they can contact the association.
It's just, Bainstown, as I understand, the grave of the founder of Bainstown is right on Meeting Street, right in that little park right there. So that's only a stone's throw away from where Great Cliff is. So, if there can be a coordinated effort and a collaborative effort, I think it would be a great thing for those.
Let me let Maxine respond to that.
Okay.
Hi, caller. In regards to what you're saying, I'm very interested in something like that. I feel like history is priceless. And what you're giving me or what you're telling me, I'm always looking for resources. And I'm also looking for persons that are able to share more insight on history.
Go ahead, continue.
Even with that, even saying that we do school tours as well. And we try to include like those areas like the inner city and the outer city areas. We have outer city tours and inner city tours based on the Heritage Museum, where we carry out school groups. So all of this that you're saying is great information to pass on and to filter to the different schools as well. So if you're able to give Mr. Newry your name or your number, or you can contact me on 475-6907 and just let me know. I'm willing to meet with this person and sit down and discuss a few things with them.
There you go. Look at that. But we have 2 minutes more. And I want you both to give a synopsis of what it is that is happening on top of West Hill Street, right? So I'll go with you, Roberta.
Well, the Bahamas is a continuous learning experience, and I think Bahamians should come and visit us. Don't think we're, that place with the pink wall up the hill. Walk through. Come
walk
visit.
Through. Buy your water and try to see the wine cellar. Yeah, the $7 water thing. But go ahead. Go ahead, Max.
Okay, I just want to take that time also to invite everybody. Come and visit the Heritage Museum. Come and do the ghost tour. I am 100% sure that you won't be disappointed. And for those that like to know about their roots, come and see the history. Just walk through the house and it's like walking through a time
And you have
machine.
real pirate guns and real pirate swords.
Yes, we do.
I saw that. I said, hey, that's a real gun. That's not a fake pirate gun. So that's very impressive. And I find that your artifacts are genuine artifacts that you made effort to purchase from around the world.
Yes,
so
they
that's
are.
always impressive, especially for kids who are trying to get an authentic cultural experience.
And school groups are always welcome. From every level we take from grade 5 and up. We take from ages 5 and up. It's something there for everyone. So we invite you to come and take a tour of the Heritage Museum of the Bahamas.
And Roberta, where can I purchase this Great Cliff 300-year Grand Bahamian Luxury book?
You can purchase it at Great Cliff, any of our retail outlets, even our airport lounge.
Excellent. So this has been Guardian Radio in the AM. My name is C.A. Newry, and I enjoyed this interview. Thanks very much for coming by.
Thank you for having us.
Excellent.